Welcome to our Paramotor Nation. Paramotor Nation is sponsored by iFly Indiana. iFly Indiana provides USPPA certified powered paragliding or paramotor training on their equipment or yours at prices as low as $2,000. Lone Star Paramotor. Lone Star Paramotor provides foot launch classes, trike training classes, transition to trike classes, and confidence builder classes near San Antonio, Texas. They are a USPPA certified flight school as well as an Aviator PPG Alliance partner. One Up Adventures and ParamotorProps.com. They love to share their passion for paramotoring and adventure. They also supply the world's best carbon fiber propellers to U.S. paramotor pilots at extremely competitive prices with fast and free shipping. Wisconsin Flight Sports. It is their goal to provide a safe, affordable, fun, and accessible training program to individuals interested in entering powered paragliding. Fly PPG Discovered Powered Paragliding. They are exclusive Midwest importer and distributor of adventure paramotors, trikes, and wings. All of their training is done on their private, highly manicured airfield located on a 48-acre farm. Fly My PPG. They are a US PPA certified Aviator PPG Alliance school offering personalized paramotor training, customized motors, paragliders, and service repairs. Wicked Wings Logo. Get a customized logo for your glider in one or multiple colors. Email Craig Taylor for more information. Aviator Paramotor. Aviator Paramotor offers a unique, service-based method of learning to fly, focused specifically on the individual student. Aviator Paramotor offers a vast array of top-quality paramotors, paragliders, and more. PPG Lights. PPG lights are a great way to have fun at twilight on your paramotor, impress your friends, and fly legally during twilight with the strobe pattern which is included. PPG lights come with a whopping 45 unique patterns, and most of them can be adjusted to create even more variety. Be sure to check out our website at www.ourparamotornation.com to see all upcoming episodes as well as the past ones. Check out all of our sponsors and so much more resources available to you. And now, let's get started with this week's episode of Our Paramotor Nation. Welcome, everybody, to Our Paramotor Nation. My name is David Wolfe. Hope everybody is doing well tonight. How's everybody out there? Everybody doing good?
Doing pretty good.
Good. Hey, Kate. So, hey,
Hi.
today is a very, very special episode. Resurgence PPG, since the very first show that we've had on Our Paramotor Nation, we have always supported Resurgence PPG. We're very, very proud to support our veterans through Resurgence PPG, who sponsored veterans to teach them how to become PPG pilots. Tomorrow is a very special day. Tomorrow's the day that we celebrate those that served in our country and gave their lives. It's Memorial Day. And today we're going to celebrate the guys that also have done the same, but they're still with us right now. And that's every day. We want to celebrate them. So I'm very excited to have Sean Michael Horn with us tonight, Matty McDonald, Andrew Mack, Josh Bowden, and Kelby Cox. I know in the chat there's some special people watching. Todd Scandra at Resurgence PPG. He's the man right there. Also, some of the other instructors, just like Josh Bowden, who have been a part of Resurgence PPG. I saw Ron Torn in there. We'll talk about some of the other people as well, and we're just very, very grateful. I want to say hello to our guests. So, Kate, how are you doing today?
Doing really good. I'm having a great time. Today was supposed to be a beach day, but it's a little overcast, but I'm having a good time.
Awesome. And Dave Ruff, Trike Flyer, how are you, sir? You had a heck of a weekend.
Oh, man, it was off the hook. Went down south, got to do some flying, watching students fly, barbecue, beer. Good times, man. Good times.
Awesome. Thank you. And also helping us up with the duties tonight, John Ripman Ryden. Johnny.
Hey, guys. Happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody. Just here helping out.
Thanks, brother. We appreciate you being here. I want to talk for a second. I'm going to be doing some screen sharing here in a second here. Yeah, there's a couple ways that you can support Resurgence PPG, and I'm not going to go so much into the details of Resurgence PPG. I'd rather the gentlemen that are sitting here with us tonight, that they be the ones that talk about that. Resurgence PPG can be supported in a couple ways. A lot of times on these YouTube shows, we have what's called a super chat, and that's great if you want to make a donation on super chat. But what I will tell you is this. Google takes 33% of that money. So if you donated $10, they're taking $3.50 right off the top. And I'd rather you give all that money directly to Resurgence PPG if you'd like to make a donation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how exactly you can do that right here. And give me a second. So here you can see this is the homepage for resurgenceppg.com. And as you can see right there, I circled this fourth button here, which is donate. Okay. So once you click on the donate button, it's going to take you to this page right here. And you can choose $10, $50, $100, or if you'd like, you can make a donation of your choice, whatever dollar amount you'd like. Now, this is really cool. Right under that, there's a little box that you can click. You can write a comment. So normally when you just make a donation to Resurgence PPG, it's going to go to fund future pilots. And that's great. We want to keep doing that. But if you'd like that money to be directed, if you want Todd to direct that money specifically, you can. And as you can see in this note that I did earlier today, it says, please apply this. I made a $100 donation, and you do what's comfortable for you. I put, please apply for equipment for Sean, Michael Horn, and Andrew Mack. So Andrew and Sean, I didn't tell you this earlier, but I've asked in this comment here for Todd to put $50 for each of you towards equipment that you guys need. After that, you click on next, and you'll fill in your own information up here, your email address. It'll ask you for your own mailing address as well. Once you click on next, it'll give you the choice that you could put in a credit card, you can choose to do PayPal, or you can do a bank transfer. And this is an important button right here. Just like any credit card transaction, there's a fee, a bank fee. So you can click that so that in this case here, $3.83 isn't going to be charged to Resurgence. I'm going to take that. So my total donation tonight is going to be for $103.83. And then lastly, you'll get some, this is from my PayPal, just saying that you've made it a donation, and I'll get an email from Resurgence as well. And I believe at the end of the year, each year I get a statement for taxes too, because it's completely tax deductible. So there you go. That's enough of my plug there, but this is something that's near and dear to my heart. If you've ever met Todd, you just know what a genuine great individual he is. It's something to really get involved. There's different ways that you can get involved with Resurgence. Is happening here in just under 2 weeks. A lot of the people sitting here are going to be in Wauchula, Florida. Sky Pirates, Rick Davies, the Sky Pirates, and I don't want to name them all, but Rick's not the only person that's planning this. There's a lot of people planning this event. Carl and Amity, I know they're very involved as well. There's a poker run, and it's going to be going from Wauchula over to Avon Park and back, and money is going to be raised for Resurgence PPG just to help more guys out there, and hopefully young ladies too who are deserving of this. So, whew, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? Let's get into it. We got a lot of people. We don't normally have 5 guests. So if you have any questions for any of our guests, please ask it during the time that they're talking. And I'll tell you right now, the order that we're going to be going is starting with Josh. After Josh, we're going to go kind of in the order of how these gentlemen all trained. It's going to be Matty, and then Sean Michael, and Kelby, and then lastly, the newest Resurgence graduate, Andrew Mack. And I did see Chris Holbert just now in the chat as well. Chris just trained him. And hello to Chris Holbert of Predator Paramotor. All right, Josh Bowden.
Yes, sir.
Howdy, sir. How you doing?
Doing well.
All right, so Josh Bowden is he's a Nebraska paramotor, and he actually trained the very first candidate that was not trained at Aviator PPG. Josh, how did you get involved with Todd, and how did this all come about for you?
Well, it kind of started at Wings Over Winter, and I was just hanging out in Florida down with the Aviator guys for almost the whole month of January. Met Todd during Wings Over Winter briefly, and then just happened to be back there during his training class. So we kind of hit it off quickly and giving each other crap back and forth, kind of banter. We hit it off really quick. It was cool. And then, seeing his first flight, seeing him go through the learning process and everything, we just stayed friends, and that's kind of how it happened. So pretty easy.
How long after that did he ask you? So you met him while he was flying, correct?
Correct.
At this point, I believe, if I'm correct, he had already started Resurgence PPG. Even
He
before-
had. He had. Yes.
How did he get you involved with it? I mean, what was that first phone call like, and what was your reaction to it?
I think it was just that magnetic personality that, for both of us, that drew us together. It was like love at first sight. He'll say something in the chat, I'm sure, but yeah, he just called me up one day and said, "Hey, I had a good time with you. I'd like you to train Ty Hayden, and he's in Kansas City or close to." And I felt honored to do the job, and we set that up for, I think only 7 months after. It was in July. I think it was 2 years ago, but yeah, it was. So I met Todd in January, and I was training Ty in July.
What was what were some of the challenges, or if any, that you had with Ty coming into his disabilities? I am not familiar with Ty's disabilities.
Honestly, I got lucky. It went very well. I think our big challenge was the time that we wanted to get things done. Typically, maybe he would be in a class, but I made a exception for him, and Todd was going to be passing through the Midwest anyway. So it was Monday. We were going to train all day Tuesday. It was the time crunch to get him in the air by the time Todd was coming through. So Todd showed up, we got him towed, and we had first flights. But there weren't any issues. It was good.
What other accommodations? I mean, one of the things that I don't know if everybody knows is, and again, I try to, you've been doing this for a while. How long have you been involved with paramotoring, and then how long have you been teaching?
It's 2020, about 10. It's either been 10 or 11 years. And then I've been school structurally training for 2.5. But I was always helping the instructor that was here in Omaha before that. And he was slowly weeding himself out. And I talked to him about starting a school. He said, "Yeah, go for it. We need an instructor here." So that's what happened. So yeah, 10, 11 years. And then I took a little break, about a 2-year break when I had a child. But back at it.
Oh, they always get in the way sometimes, don't they?
They do.
So sorry, kids. So it's kind of funny. I've been in the paramotoring. Paramotoring's been my life for about 2 years now. So I still consider myself new and stupid still.
Right. So do I.
Yeah. And we're still learning, right?
Absolutely. Every day.
So, but I say that because I think a lot of times, when we look at Facebook and we see people that are coming in and are asking questions, one of the thoughts that I think is, oh my gosh, this question again, how many times are we going to question? Why isn't there just a book that gives you all these answers? So I think a lot of people don't know about Resurgence PPG. And a lot of the people that watch this show may be hearing about Resurgence PPG for the very first time. So I know ideally they'd like to have turn your volume up a little bit. Is my volume down a little bit? I'm sorry about my volume up. Ron Torn says my volume's not up enough.
Could be slightly louder, maybe.
Ron Torn, you should turn your speakers up. No, I'm kidding.
Might be.
So what we try to do is kind of the ideal number that Todd has in mind to fund a candidate is about $7,000. Do you want to share a little bit about what that goes towards?
Well, training. There's a lot that goes into it with organizing and the time that goes into everything. He's got the training, which is anywhere from, I don't know, 25 to 35. I'm not sure what everybody charges. He has a per diem for them for meals, and then lodging. So, for a 7 to 14 day program, that can get pricey. Maybe on the beach you could do it quicker, but we always contend with the weather. So to actually get it all done the way you should, and 14 days is a good time to be somewhere.
Tell me a little bit about, for you personally, the benefit of working with Resurgence. How has it changed your life?
It's just been an honor. It's really great to work with Todd and then everybody else that I've met through Resurgence, which hasn't been that much, but hopefully this year I get to meet with everybody. Ty Hayden and I have developed a great relationship. He was just up here 2 weeks ago, came up for the day, flew with us, and he drove back home. He lives 2.5 hours away. But we've developed a great relationship. And I think with everybody in Paramotor, the relationship that we develop with everybody, even though sometimes it's taxing with, like you said, the Facebook stuff and certain people in the community, that's a little bit tough sometimes. But I think for the most part, we all really dig each other and we all get along. And to have that relationship with the Resurgence alumni is amazing. And to help out is amazing. And, I tend to put that, a decent part of that training money back into Resurgence because it makes you feel good. And he's doing a really great thing for Matty and everybody else that he's sponsored.
You said a very important word in there, and the word was relationship. And I know Todd and I have talked about that also, about having that relationship, not just during the training, but after the training as well.
Right.
Making sure that those people, I was honored this week to get to meet Andrew Mack, one of our guests, the first Resurgence candidate that I got to see during training. I was super excited for him. And as it turns out, Andy lives maybe 1.5 miles from me.
That's awesome.
So I am super excited to be able to fly with him soon. Quite often. Andy. Right. So, but relationships. So we're going to be asking Sean a little bit more about Adventure Wingman Reunion, which I'll let him talk a little bit about that. But, I'm sure that first of all, Todd would never reach out to someone to be an instructor for one of his guys or gals down the road if he wasn't 100% confident. But do you ever find yourself, because you were one of the first, kind of playing mentor or kind of helping new instructors coming into it?
Sure. There's a lot of people that come to the field that are there all the time. And naturally, somebody that's been flying for even as little as 6 months to a year, you always find that they are helping other people. And that's fine. Everybody seems to become an instructor as soon as they learn how to fly. But yeah, I think that it does take, the most experienced person there or the group of them to always step in and say, yeah, you're doing a good job, but maybe don't use certain words. Deflation is scary, so don't say that. And don't rush them, slow it down for them. But yeah, I do find myself kind of stepping back sometimes from the instructor side of me and watching the other guys kind of take over. So yeah, the answer would be yes.
I know I've seen, obviously, we've talked before, been on Robert's show as well, talking about this too. And I really appreciate you being here. I'm hoping we can raise a lot more money. Obviously this is a shirt that, means a lot to me. And the hopes was that we would have enough funds to put through 20 candidates this year. As of right now, Andy is only the 4th candidate for this year. So we got a long way to go. I don't want to give oh boys, right? I don't want to give up. And we actually have 2 other candidates that are going through very, very shortly, or one right now, and I believe one coming up right after.
Right.
And we'll talk about that. But hey, look, even if we fall short of a big audacious goal, at least we're going to do better. We're going to keep doing better. And we're going to keep supporting it. By the way, if you do want to get one of these shirts or any of the shirts, I would actually advise you to go for a Resurgence t-shirt. If you don't want to make a direct donation, then you can go onto the Resurgence website. They have some gear that you can buy, and those funds go to support Resurgence PPG as well. And any thoughts? Last question for you for now, at least. Any thoughts for bringing on another candidate when funds are available?
Myself personally?
Yeah. For training.
Anytime. I would go to Alaska for Todd and go train somebody up there. I would go, I would train in the middle of February here when it's freezing cold. There's never a question about me training somebody to help out Todd.
If you are watching the show, if you're planning on coming to that poker run here in 2 weeks, Todd will be there. His plan is to be there. Kelby Cox is going to be helping him in the Resurgence tent. If you have any questions, you want to meet them, they will be there for you to meet them. Josh, thank you. If we have any other questions, we're going to swing back around and
I'll be here.
Some more questions. We're going to head over to Matty McDonald. What's up, Matty?
Hey.
Hey. How are you, buddy?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good. Matty is not a stranger to our Paramotor Nation. Matty and Todd were on the 5th episode back in April last year. And paid a lot of money to come back on it. My gosh, it looks like you got some rough weather behind you. I'm looking out your window behind you.
Yeah. Not flying weather this weekend in Tampa, unfortunately.
So it's been a while, so we can come back to some of the questions we may have asked before. Tell us about the training that you got.
So it was October of 2017, if I'm recalling correctly. And I went through training at Aviator Paramotor in Lake Wales with Eric Farewell. And my situation was a little bit unique. I was already kind of a week into training, and I get a call at lunch one day with the rest of my class and with Eric and the rest of the instructors. And it was Todd Scandrett himself letting me know my mother had applied to his program. And I think the program he just went public with it like that week. My mother saw an ad for it, applied. Todd called me during lunch and informed me, I normally don't even answer, numbers that I don't know, but here it was Todd, he knew what was going on and let me know that he was covering the whole training course for me and everything. It was really quite a moving experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You enjoyed the training? Hey, talk up a little bit more, Matty. They're having trouble hearing you.
Okay. Yeah, the training was fantastic. At the time, I kind of, probably like a lot of people in similar situations, I was kind of entertaining the idea of, because there's no formal certification, I was entertaining the idea of self-training. And I was very, very glad when I went through the course that I didn't. And that was a big barrier for entry for me. It took me a couple of years to save up the money I needed for the tuition. Of course, Todd ended up funding that, like I said, the first week, which made it available for me to get into some used gear kind of right out of the gate. So
what challenges have you had in the last 2 years since you went through training?
So like I said, I went through training October of 2017. And really for me, I've got 3 daughters, one's 9. I've got 4.5-year-old twins I have sole custody for. One has cancer. We've got a really expensive copay with the medication. So for me, it was really just gear. It was gear. I just barely recently got a reserve, something I'd wanted from the beginning. It's just been a compromise for me. I started out with used gear, and that presented a lot of unique obstacles and challenges itself. I think probably my first 25 flights, I had engine troubles. I had the wrong carburetor on my motor. I had an older motor. This is a Snap 100. And so I just had all kinds of issues. I nearly got out of the sport altogether. Last minute, I ended up getting somebody to help me fix the carburetor, basically swap it out back with another factory carburetor. And so that was some of my main challenges, just gear. I've also got a couple of limitations. I've got some titanium implants on my neck, and then I've got some herniated discs in my low back. So lightness in gear is very important for me. And so I'm still, I feel paramotors are a lot of personal preference, but I'm still kind of going through the list, trying to decide which one is right for me as far as lightness and strength and all that.
What do you prefer when you're flying right now?
Well, right now I'm on a Simplify X3. It's a titanium frame. I got it from Backyard Flyers, London Ivy, and Zephyr Hills, Florida. And I don't have any complaints with it. It's a little bit heavy. I think I do have a large tank on it when I'm all up, about a half tank of fuel and about 70, 75 pounds. So, I know there's a few options out there. I recently got the chance to fly a mini plane with the top 80. And while that was 40 pounds, not quite adequate as far as power is concerned. So,
Okay, you need to put your air condition back on. You turn
true.
watching the sweat dripping off your neck there, Matty.
You told me to turn the AC off.
Prior to the show, I said, "Hey, Matty, I can hear the air condition. If you can just mute yourself, that would be fine." You got to go put that back on.
Yeah, I've got a fan actually.
That's good show right there, guys. This is live entertainment. All right, disregard that. All right, so why not fly a trike?
That's something I'm interested in. In my mind, I was kind of hoping that once I gained proficiency in foot launch, which I'm here now, I've got 2 years solid flying under my belt. When I start moving into a tandem, that's what I was thinking. I would start to expand my skills and move into the trike world a little bit.
Okay. How have you seen, since you were number one, and this has only been going on for about the last 2 years. I mean, you were number one. What changes have you seen so far in the Resurgence program, if any?
I've seen it grow, and I've seen Todd expand out to different schools. This program is nationwide, and that's seems to be a challenge for him. Is coming up with the funds. That number's it's a pretty big number when you start talking about relocating somebody to a school, putting them up in temporary lodging, paying for their meals. So I've really seen Todd expand the program and have an affiliation program with lots of other schools around the country, which I think is phenomenal. I think there's still a lot more room for growth there too. I've got friends all over the country, and many of which are nowhere near a school as it stands.
Have you ever tried to reach out to other adaptive veterans to get them involved in the sport?
Absolutely. This is something that it really sells itself. I think everyone listening can, personally attest to this, that, we're designed to be communal people. I've heard people more intelligent than me say that the most depressing thing that you can do is eat alone. And I know for me, flying it's unmatched in what it does, mentally, physically, emotionally, all the above. But nothing comes close to sharing that with somebody else. And especially, one of my best friends, and this is a buddy from the military from my days as a private security contractor. He's gone through his own challenges and obstacles as well. His name is Christian Cooper. I believe he was the second, maybe the third candidate through Resurgence. But I fly with and it's phenomenal, and it's every day we're talking to our friends, like I said, around the country that are seeing the videos that we're sharing. They're hearing us describe what it's like, and yeah, everybody wants in. I've got a buddy right now that is going through some training out in Lake Tahoe, Northern California, and there was no schools out there that were in the program, so there was a gap there, and he ended up finding one on his own. So that's something else that like I said, that we're working on, and Todd is already expanding rapidly. He's got farm. I'm not sure how many different schools he has, but it's probably half a dozen so far at least.
Yeah, I know that it's important to have these relationships with the schools, the instructors, the manufacturers. How do you think more of us out there that are looking from the outside, looking in, trying to help Resurgence? What else besides money? The question came up before, is it just money? Yeah, it's really just money, because motors cost. But there's another thing too. There's donations of gear. Dave Ruff, our own co-host tonight, Dave Ruff donated 2 gliders to Resurgence PPG. And that's amazing. That's amazing. So if you've got a glider that you're not using, or you don't think you'll use, and maybe you'll get a little bit of money for it, but you know what? Maybe someone else can use it and get more than just that. Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. We all need money. We all like money. Money buys us things. But Dave, I'd like you to come on and talk about that for a second. I mean, you probably could have gotten a couple $1,000s for each of those gliders. why did you do what you did and donate these? And what was the benefit to you?
Real no benefit to me. It's just I wanted to donate somehow. Didn't really like the idea of the whole cash thing when I had some wings that are perfectly usable. I flew them up until I sent them out and said, hey, you know, this is going to be a good way for these guys to get some gear, because you know the training's one thing, but getting good gear is really tough. And especially with these guys that have, you know, disabilities and things like that, you know, it's hard. So it was a very simple call, guys. It was just a matter of calling Todd and saying, hey, for a hug, I'll send you a wing. And next thing I know, I got a hug. But no, all kidding aside, it was just, you know, guys, it doesn't have to be a wing. It doesn't have to be a motor. I mean, heck, it can be anything paramotor related that help these guys get through, whether, you know, it's training or, you know, after training. You do it. I know these are really, really tough times, stuff like that. I mean, money is tight for everybody. But if you got something that's just, you know, been sitting collecting dust that you don't use all that often, man, give it. It's tax deductible. The feeling's great. I got to see pictures of both guys flying these wings. It's cool. It's just absolutely cool. So do it.
Let's be honest though, the exchange is definitely worth Todd's hugs.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm not even that way, but that man can hug me anytime.
Matty, we're gonna move on to Sean Michael Horn here in just a second. But I don't think there hasn't been very many questions coming in from the chat at this point. But you know, any last thoughts from you as far as like what you would like to see more of to support Resurgence PPG?
Yeah, sure. You know what you were just talking about, any used gear, like for example, I picked up a used mini plane with a top 80. I think I was mentioning before we went live how I flew it recently, my 20-meter GTR with my trims. It was a windy day. My trims half open, not quite enough power for a 185-pound guy with trims half open on such a small wing. But that's something that I've let buddies here local borrow, you know, in the meantime. And there's a lot of gear that I've come across that I've kind of passed on. But where my sights kind of are right now, something that I would personally love to see for the program moving forward is some kind of potential team pilot program. I know myself and the guys that I fly with here locally, namely Christian Cooper, another candidate of Resurgence, we're constantly traveling, you know, like I mentioned, I think in the pre-show as well, I've got identical twin daughters. One has a very rare blood cancer. And so I travel quite a bit with her treatment. And when I do, I typically try to drag my paramotor if I can. So I end up coming up with some pretty interesting footage. Now, I'm not the best one for editing it and all that, but I think this is a pretty big market, you know, the veteran community. And there's such a brotherhood, you know, a family rather, in the paramotor community that myself and I think so many of my peers are lacking and missing, you know, when we separate from service. And, you know, what I would really like to do is not only continue flying myself, but continue to add, you know, my brothers and sisters in arms up there with me. And I think the exposure to that network is kind of where I'm aiming. Trying to get the word out amongst my peers.
Well, I gotta tell you, you know, Linda Anderson is in the chat and watching the show, and she just, you know, heard the call. And Linda, I want to thank you for that $20 donation to Resurgence PPG tonight. Thank you very much. We'll make sure that gets over to Resurgence and helping these guys out. I'm not done with you yet, Matty, because I will also say this, that you know, Josh was just talking about relationships as well. And brotherhood is another strong word, especially, you know, amongst those. Have you ever reached out to any of the other folks that have gone through Resurgence PPG?
Is this question directed at me, David?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I have. As a matter of fact, there was a fly-in here recently down in my neck of the woods in Palm Bay, Florida. I forget when the date was, but there were a few candidates that I was planning on meeting down there, and I had some issues come up with my daughter Ayla, who is sick, and that prevented me from from getting in touch with them. But I've met a couple other at Palm Bay, not at Palm Bay, at Bad Apples last year. But the Adventure Wingman program that has been, postponed, that was really where we were all planning on coming together, formally to all meet. Like I said, we come from, every different direction. A lot of us, haven't met before and aren't friends, but have a lot in common.
Thank you. Thanks, Manny. I appreciate everything you do. And I want you to know too, every time I see a picture that you post of your daughter, I pray for her. So
thank you. Appreciate it. She's doing well.
Good. Good. Sean Michael Horn is with us. Hey, Sean, how are you doing? Sean Michael?
Not bad, guys. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. Sean was sponsored 100% by two people that are very, very special. They support the show. They're sponsors of the show. It's Craig and Yolanda Taylor. Great people. Great people. Sean, how is it that you got involved with Resurgence PPG, and how did you get involved in just even the sport, the interest in it?
To be honest, before Todd, I actually really didn't know much about paragliding at all. I got a random call from a random guy, which ended up being Todd, and he was explaining the opportunity that he was able to give to me about coming down to Aviator PPG and like, hey, we're gonna teach you how to fly and all this. I'm just like, all right, so I got a weird guy that's gonna fly me down to Florida and have me do the school, and I'm like, is this guy real? I don't know what's going on. So I started actually looking into the whole Resurgence PPG and seeing what it is, and like, hey, this is actually a thing. Yeah. But once I was able to see that it was really a thing, that like, man, I can't pass this up. I love new experiences. I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie a little bit, and I'm really, really glad that I took that opportunity. The people I got to meet, the experiences I got, meeting Craig, like he's a really cool guy, by the way. He really, really is. And I would really love to get that to somebody else. That is still a goal of mine, to where I can fully sponsor someone else.
Sean Michael, do me one quick favor. Just take your hands off your table, because your camera, your iPad, your camera's bouncing all over the place, and I think 3 people in the chat may have just gotten sick. No, you're fine.
My bad.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, buddy. Appreciate it. We were talking before, and I've said this before, that I never got the opportunity to serve, but there's a huge special place in my heart for those that have. And that's why I really feel good about supporting Resurgence PPG. And after talking to you the other night and talking to Andrew, I really felt good saying, I want this donation to go to help you guys specifically out this time. Talk about some of the, I guess, the life changes that have been made, challenges you've had to purchase equipment.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, they're not cheap items to begin with. So over the past year, I'm a full-time college student. I also work full-time, and I'm in a flight school full-time. So it's trying to cover school and everything, and that's already extremely expensive. And it's just, we have a group here, the paraglider group here, and I've been keeping tabs on them, and sometimes we'll have stuff for sale, like maybe I can nitpick a little piece here, a little piece there, just eventually get it all together, because everything at once that's way too much. But just life, it seems like every time it comes around, I find an awesome deal on something and I can't do it. It sucks, because like I said, there is a small group here that does fly, and I get to see them fly. I'm like, man, I really wish I could get there doing that.
What do you have
actually,
so far?
Huh?
What do you have so far, equipment wise?
I have a harness.
Harness. Okay.
There is a speed wing here, and they come with a harness that Todd let me borrow, so I can kind of keep kiting and keep on that, so I don't let that perish. But that does not belong to me. So I'm
Okay.
using it at the moment.
So you're borrowing a glider and you have a kiting harness, and that's all you have at this point.
Mhm.
Okay. Please promise us you won't quit.
No, I'm trying to find a way to keep on it. So
Yeah, I think that's,
here we are. Yeah.
that's Craig Taylor says hello, by the way. I think that's one of the concerns, as a person that does donate to Resurgence, is I personally don't want to see people go through the training and then that's the end of it. I want to see them keep flying. And I've had small conversations with Todd about this. What do we have to do to keep supporting them if we need to? We'll get you there. I know you talked about before about, you're in college and you've got these other things going too. Do you put a little bit away each month? Do you try to put a little bit away?
What I can, yeah. It's interesting. I went through a divorce in the past year as well, so it's been interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry you had to go through all that.
That's life.
Talk about Adventure Wingman. What's going on in November?
So we'll pick a big reunion for everybody, which I think would be awesome. There's a lot of guys I'd love to see, and I've never done a cross country trip. I think that would be awesome. My butt's probably gonna hurt a little bit, but it'll be worth it. Just to get together again, get to fly, get to camp. I believe it'd be a blast, and having my own gear would be great. Heck, if I could just borrow it for a couple days to go do it, that'd be awesome. Even if I don't get to fly, just go with the guys and watch them fly, and chasing with the vehicles, make sure everything's good. It just looks like a all-around good time. Unfortunately, given the COVID and everything else going on, we already had to push it back. But I'm pretty confident we can get it done this year.
I'm really glad to hear you say what you just did too, because as we talk about brotherhood, you're saying the same thing. It's a brotherhood, and I'm a part of this too, and you're going to be there regardless if you can fly or not, because you are a part of this. And I believe that one day you will have your gear and you will be able to get up there too. I was going to ask you. So there was a question earlier. What was the most frustrating part of your training? Who did you train with, and what was the most frustrating part of your training for you? And once you do get your gear, because you just said, these are perishable skills, do you plan on going back for additional training? 3 questions.
All right. I was on their Aviator PPG, and the most frustrating part was the weather. Because we were all ready to go, and we just trying to find a good day. The wind's nice, and everything was like pulling teeth. Well, once we had it, we were good. We were at it. Me and Craig, kite wars, getting out there, and it was awesome. What was the 3rd question? I forgot that one.
So what was your favorite part? Are you going to plan on going back for additional training once you do have your equipment?
Oh yeah. I'd actually like to make it at least a yearly thing, whether it be for additional training or just going to see how the classes are going. Especially if Todd has a candidate going through. Their aviators are a really good family. I know I'd go down there and say hey to them, and they all welcome me back like I was just there yesterday. Good people. So yeah, I'd love to go back there, not just once, but whenever I can.
What was your favorite part of training, besides that it's a family-like atmosphere, as you just said?
Obviously the flying itself's a blast, but I think the favorite part was when everybody was getting really good with the kiting. They can kind of get to do whatever they wanted, and we all just started chasing each other down, having kiting wars, trying to deflate each other's parachutes. That was
the way the story has always been told to me is, here you have Craig Taylor, Sean Michael Horn, 2 single leg amputees, and they're running circles around everybody else in the training. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah. Craig did a really awesome job. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to set my game up. Can't let him run circles around me, and it just ended up being a lot of fun. man, I remember I watched him doing his first flight. You know, it was awesome. It really was a lot of fun. We even both of us even landed and were able to turn around and kite it as soon as we hit the ground. You know.
Yeah.
Good time.
I'm kind of hesitant to ask this question because, you know, we all have that stuff that's going on in our lives, and, you know, be it if it's a divorce or other things like that, or schooling or flight school. Have you ever thought about setting up a fund to help raise money for this? Because where some people think that this is just a sport, this is just for fun, it's not that important. No, man, this is therapy. That's why I support Resurgence PPG. And I tell this, you know, it's funny because just yesterday I had a customer who was in the Navy, and yeah, he's telling me, "I'll shake your hand. I don't believe this COVID." When I was in Vietnam, I was pulling mines out of the rivers. This doesn't scare me. But that led into a conversations of how I support Resurgence PPG, and I tell everybody, doesn't matter what's going on down here, because when you're up there, your mind is clear. Doesn't matter who you are. It's therapy. So, have you ever thought about starting a fund to help you raise money for your equipment?
No, I have not. I'm also a fairly stubborn individual, so.
Okay. There is a comment here from someone, I won't say who in the chat left this comment, and you're not allowed to look. It says, if Shawn Michael would keep in touch with his sponsor more often, he might have a place to stay a few days to go get a refresher. Anything you want to say to your sponsor?
What are you doing in 3 weeks?
There you go. I think you should get in touch with Craig. Shawn, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you being here. Let's move on to the next person, a gentleman I got to meet at Bad Apples last year, I believe before his training, Kelby Cox. Hey, Kelby.
Hey, how are y'all?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. How are you, man? You doing all right?
Good. Yeah, I'm hanging out in New Hampshire right now. I'm
Okay.
on vacation, if you will. So just hanging out.
You're heading back down to Florida in the next 2 weeks. I know that for sure, right?
I am going when I leave, go back to Georgia. I'll stay there for a day, and then I'll go down to Florida for a refresher class, and then I'll meet Todd to do the tent on the 6th.
Awesome. How many? Now let's give a little plug here. Who are you going to be getting a refresher with? You're allowed to say. If you're not allowed to say, we don't have to say.
Nobody said anything but Travis Burns.
That's awesome. What a great.
Yeah, we went camping last weekend, and we started talking, and I talked. We did the what's that called? Research. Just a 1 or 2 day class.
Refresher.
Yeah, refresher.
Yeah.
So he's gonna help me out real quick, and then we're gonna while I'm down there, I'm gonna go and meet Todd on the 5th.
So you were trained what month was it last year?
It was May. When we went to Bad Apples, that next Tuesday I started class.
Okay.
So it was the end of the month. We did Skyfield Flight Works with Andrew Solano, and yeah, it's been fun.
I was really honored to get to meet you at Bad Apples and sit and spend some time talking to you prior to your training and kind of watching your journey go along. Can you share with everybody else a little bit about your journey and how Resurgence PPG has impacted your life?
Yeah. So I had a stroke 8 years ago, and I have aphasia, which means I can't talk. I don't know what the doctors say, but it's basically I still have problems with my speech still. And I was in a low place in my life, and a couple weeks when I had the thoughts of suicide and all that stuff, we got the email saying Todd saying, "Hey, he's going to do the deal," and my life has completely changed because of that letter saying that he's going to train me to do paramotor.
It's awesome, man. So you got the letter, you started doing the training. So since the time, how many flights did you make at training, and how many flights have you made since training?
I flew 5 times in training, and then I've only flown once by myself, and that was September, October, something like that. Maybe November, but I can't remember. Yeah, so the refresher is going to help me a lot.
So I know that you fortunately do have your gear.
I do. I sold my motorcycle and bought my gear about 3 months after class.
It's awesome, man. And that just goes to show what this means to you, the sport means to you.
Yeah.
You're just itching to get back up in the air. You've got to be.
Yeah, I bought the new headset from Wisconsin Flight Sports.
Yeah.
And so now when I'm flying, I can talk to other people while you're flying and stuff like that. Like 2 meters.
Okay. All right. So I guess when you went on your camp out last week, were you talking to people with the 2 meter radio?
No, but I've got a 2 meter radio, and so does my friend Chad, who's got one. And while he's flying, I can sit and make sure that there's no planes or anything while I'm at the airport.
I see.
And we can talk like normal.
Okay. So you're doing your refresher course. Do you think you'll be flying at the poker run?
No, I don't think so, because I told Todd that I was going to work the tent. But yeah, I'm going to go to, after I go to the poker run, I'm going to go to Clearwater and see my cousin there, and we might do beach flying while I'm there, and then I'm going to go back home.
Is there a reason that you think that you, I guess, became uncomfortable after that first flight?
You would think that it would be perfect. It would. I've got short fingers, so it's hard for me to get the brakes and the throttle. And I was trying to fly with Chad, and I couldn't even feel my brakes. So I stopped it. And then after that, I just said, I need some help. Not just your buddy who wants to help you to fly. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but yeah, I don't know what it is.
You just felt like you lost your confidence?
Zero confidence. Matter of fact, when I went to Boston with Kate and everybody with the camping, and I was terrified to go fly.
Yeah, our LZ was not the easiest. I actually ended up failing my first launch. It's kind of like Rotor Central over there, and I stayed up for maybe 7 minutes, not even.
Yeah.
It's not an ideal place to try to fly. It's gorgeous by all means if the wind's perfect. It's an absolutely gorgeous flight, but it was supposed to be flyable, but we ended up only having a small window. Anyhow.
Well, Kelby, we're gonna keep praying for you. I'm sure you'll get yourself back up in the air in no time.
I'm hoping that I'll be there. Well, I'm going to be there at Aviator for 3 days. So I don't know how much refresher it's going to be or how much. I really don't know exactly what we're doing. I mean, I know what I'm doing. He needs to teach me to fly again.
Yeah, Travis will do a great job with you. And hey, there's Friday night too, if you're comfortable before the poker run. I would love to get up in the air with you.
Yeah,
we're
same
gonna-
here. Same here, buddy.
Same here.
we're gonna be camping at the Wachilla Airport, so I'll be hanging out with you guys Friday night too.
Heck yeah. Looking forward to it.
We'll be there.
I want to give you some good news here. We just had 3 donations come in, and these are all going to go to Resurgence PPG. One was Crazy Uncle Bob for $5. Linda Anderson, who already donated $20, has just donated another $5. And John Wayne has just dropped $99.99. Let's just round it to 100. I'll throw in a penny. We'll call it 100. So thank you to all 3 of you for that. That's amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll be sending that over to Resurgence PPG, Todd Scandrat. That's awesome. Kelby, man, I love you, man. I want to keep watching that story of yours continue on and on and on. And here's one last question, and most important question: your child. How's everything going with your child?
Oh man, Joe's amazing. He's 6.5, and don't forget the half. And he's got he lost both of his 2 front teeth. And yeah, he's good. Thank you though.
Buddy.
So 6.5 going on 21.
Yep.
What is? I am just curious for Kelby and for Matthew. What do your kids think about you guys flying? How do they feel about it? Is it something they want to do, or is it something that they look at and they go, "Oh heck no"?
Oh no, Joe's excited when I get my gear ready to go.
Oh.
Kate, I made the mistake one time. I was flying on the beach, and I had my twins with me. And when I landed, I asked them if they wanted to come up with me, and I was completely joking. They're 4.
Oh, come on.
And still to this day, the twins are Genevieve and Ayla. And Genevieve, every time she sees a paramotor, I talk about it, she reminds me. Actually, she has informed me probably a dozen times now that for her 5th birthday, she wants her own paramotor and her own harness that fits her.
That's awesome.
But she asks me after that time when I told her I would take her up, and then I told her I couldn't. She asked why, and I explained to her I didn't have a harness. First off, I can't fly tandem, and I don't have a harness that fits her. And so she was adamant that I order her a harness.
That is so discouraging for a little girl. Oh my God.
Yeah, but they all want to fly, and I'm kind of on the fence to send them up with somebody else or just wait until I get to that point and fly with them. But they're ready right now.
That is awesome.
Cool. Yeah, that definitely could happen soon. I mean, there's multiple people. You know, there's Travis. There's a ton of guys at Aviator that can take them up on a tandem.
Oh, for
if
sure.
They're large enough. I know Travis just took up his daughter. So
also, probably like everybody listening, I've watched probably every one of Tucker Gott's videos, and my girls watch them by proxy. And so there we go. And so there was a time when myself and Todd sat down with Jacqueline and Tucker and had dinner. And the girls, you know, they were probably 3 at the time, but they were starstruck. They sat on the other side of the table and just stared the whole time. And it was like, we know you, but not that person. It was great.
It's weird when you see someone who, you know, when you meet somebody that you only ever see on a screen, it's like, wait a minute, you're real?
Yeah.
You're a living person too? What?
For sure.
That's cool.
That's very cool. Yeah, I'll tell you this, Matty. I told my daughter Addison a month from today, we're gonna head up to fly my PPG, and she's gonna get her first flight on a tandem with one of the guys up there. So yeah, I can't deny her. I can't deny her. She's got the itch. So we're gonna get her up in the air. So
The significance of that can't be overlooked. I fly on the beach a lot, and every time, I see a dad with his daughter or a dad with his son, and they're waving, and I'll take the time and I'll loop back around. I remember when I was a kid, and there was a few times where that happened to me on the beach, and that's part of what brought me.
Part of the draw.
Helped bring me to where I am right now.
Yeah,
Well,
that's part of the draw.
Bringing up the beach, think about when you see just like the seaplanes or the airplanes that fly by with the signs, you're always looking up at it. Like you're always looking at it like, wow, I wish I could be there instead.
Yeah,
So,
the little kid
I
that's
agree with
waving.
what you said. It's good to acknowledge it.
So one of the great.
I know. If I can, I know, and I'm going to brag on Dave, and I've done it once or twice in my flying career. Is Dave will drop parachutes,
what I
and
was
I've done it a few times. Yeah, there you go, buddy.
Care packages.
Yeah.
I flew over a park with these boys playing football, and they were waving at me, and I was waving down, and I happened to reach down. In my side bag, I did have a parachute guy, and I dropped it down, and I kept circling around. I watched it go down, and the boys were running back and forth, and one of them caught it, and I'm like, man,
That's
I
awesome.
hate that kid.
They're gonna remember that for the rest of their life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got again Craig Taylor in the chat. He says 20 more for 20 in 2020, $20 from Craig Taylor tonight. Thank you, Craig Taylor, going to Resurgence PPG. Thank you, buddy. And thank you, Yolanda, too. So there you go. Cool. John Ripman Ryden, Predator Paramotor had a little message. Would you read that message to everybody real quick before we go into our last guest here?
Sure. If anyone knows someone in a bad place who could be helped out by getting into the air, please have them reach out to Resurgence or Project Airtime. And if they're in my area, send them directly to me.
Predator Paramotor is Chris Holbert, and he is a really special individual and a person I'm very excited that I've gotten to know a lot better here in the last several months. And he just trained our latest Resurgence now graduate and alumni, Andrew Mack. What's up, Andrew? Oh, we're gonna hear you so much better when you unmute your mic.
Welcome, Andrew.
Yeah. How you doing?
All right, Andy, you've been sitting here for the last hour hearing everybody else's stories. Tell us about yours.
Well, I guess it all started like probably most people with a urge to find out what paramotor is, and then you hop on YouTube and find Tucker got eventually, and yeah, so it was actually he did kind of a plug for Resurgence, and I told my wife about it, and she apparently filled out a application for me. And
so you didn't know she filled out the application?
No.
That's great.
No, but so it was like March 5th. She submitted it, and then on March 7th, she got a reply back from Todd, and it was like, hey, we'd love to support them, but it's expensive. We don't have the funds for it right now, but we'll keep them on the list, and hopefully we can get them in. And so let's see, March 13th is when I got notified by my wife again. Hey, guess who just emailed me? It was Todd saying, hey, you've been accepted. And then he put me in touch with Chris Holbert over at Predator. And man, I flew last weekend, and I was just, when I landed, man, just running around the field, hooting and hollering. So it was a great time.
Dude, you're a natural. So I got to see you, and you're a natural. You look like you've been flying a long time. You did great. You did. I wish I could have been there for your first flight. I was probably there for what? I don't know. Well, gosh, you made a bunch of flights that day that I got there before I even got there, didn't you?
Yeah, so I've flown, I've had 2 flying days now, and I have like 17 flights. So.
Wow. That's awesome. We talked with Eric DeFore, was it last week or the week before? And he said that really you shouldn't leave until you shouldn't be out until you have at least 25 flights. Be done with training. So you're well on your way. That's awesome, man. What was it like training at Predator?
I was hearing guys talk about training down at like aviator and stuff and how it felt like family. But man, when you're working one-on-one with an instructor like that, it's, I mean, and it's the legendary Chris Holbert, you know? So, yeah, it was, man, just a one-on-one time. He had great communication with me, worked to get me up in the air and train me up as best he could. And I mean, he pretty much told me, stick around and bother me as much as you want. So I don't know if there's anything better to say about that, you know?
Chris is great. I mean, I've now watched him with several different students from all different backgrounds and caliber of flying. You know, one of his recent students is he's parachutes and I think the speed things as well. So he's probably better than me. Well, most people are, but I gotta say real quick because I'm seeing some numbers coming in here. Keith Smith just donated $20. Who else right before him? Keith Smith, and then who did I miss? Chad B, who says got to run, but yeah, another 20 for 20 and 20. And Keith Smith says, for these amazing vets, we owe more than we can ever repay. Man, I agree with Keith 100%. We do owe you guys, so thank you so much. You know, and we didn't really ask this of everybody else, but you know, as far as being a vet, talk about what you've done.
Well, I mean, I served for 7 years in the Army as a crew chief on Chinooks. Spent 4 of those 7 years flying on the back as a crew member. I was in the 160th Special Operations. It was a lot of fun, really busy. Yeah, so I just missed flying so much, and I think that's part of why my wife put me in for Resurgence. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, flying has just always been part of my life. My dad was in the Army as well. He did 36 years, I think. And so my whole life has had some sort of aviation in it.
You know, we talk about that there is a wait list. You had to wait a long time, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah, it was just about a year, I think.
Yeah.
A little over a year.
Yeah. I mean, we need the funds. Resurgence needs the funds, and that's all there is to it. And we can get more vets up in the air just like you who deserve it. Thank you for everything that you've done. And as I said earlier, man, I can't wait to do a lot of flying with you. So, and there's a lot of people in our area. And I think, you know, as Todd is a great judge of character for his instructors. As Todd finds more instructors out there that can do this, I think it's going to make it a lot easier because obviously in your case, you know, you didn't have to be put in a hotel. You were home every night. And you know, where Chris trains, and there's a couple different places where Chris can be, it could be 45 minutes away in Ohio, right? Or about, 20 minutes or even 10 minutes away in Lebanon or in at Red Stewart Airport. So, that's a way that we can look to hopefully save some money is to, find out, who's out there that's capable, that will fit the standards that Resurgence PPG is looking for. Biggest impact on your life so far? I mean, it's just been a week, not even a week. But, well, I mean, is it everything you thought?
The problem is I can't stop staring out the window. I'm sitting here working from home right now. And, working from home, I'm staring out the window. When I'm trying to do homework, I'm staring out the window. Because, like Sean, I'm pretty busy as well. I work full-time, school full-time, and I volunteer at the fire department too.
Which fire department?
Salem Morrow.
Okay. I'll talk to you later about that.
Andrew.
Story there.
Real quick, Andrew, have you gotten to the point now where you're driving down the road and say, yeah, I could probably land that field, I could take off out of that field, to wherever you're going to?
Yeah.
It's a disease, man. It gets worse.
I was staring at clouds driving the other day.
Yep.
But I believe Miss Bowen here, she had a post the other day where it said, I think Kate, you posted something where it said to the fact of you're constantly looking up at the sky and looking at the wind and looking at the clouds. Isn't that something that you put up there?
I don't know if that was me, actually. Was it me?
Yeah, I think it was.
That's definitely something I've said before. You know, whenever you're on the ground, you're looking at the sky, and whenever you're in the sky, you're looking at the ground. So.
Josh Bowden, you've been doing this 11 years. Does that ever change for any one of us that we stop staring at the sky?
No, never.
I'm always looking at the sky.
I'll be out with my friends and be like, every time you hear something, you look up. Every time you're just always looking up. Like, yeah, it just happens. And not everybody understands it. You know, when you get into a class of 4 or 6 people, you always hear, you know, when you're doing your introductions, like ever since I was a little boy, or I guess a little girl, I always had this thing I wanted to fly. And a lot of people don't get it. I've got friends that are big sports fans, or they're in different things. But yeah, we just have that disease, like you just said. And you just, for some people, I guess they give it up for a while, or they get out of it completely. But all of us, yeah, it doesn't change.
You know, I don't know that I've met one person who hasn't dreamed about flying.
Right.
Whether it's something that they want in reality, or if it's something they just dream about. Like, I don't know that I've ever met one person that hasn't, you know, made it a reality in their mind, at least.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, it's just, even today I was looking at the clouds and I was saying, boy, look at how fast those clouds are moving up way up high there. They've got to be about a mile high and they're just flying right past. My wife says,
you know, I do the same thing. I'll be driving along and I'm like, I wonder how fast those clouds are going.
my wife says, yeah, that's really beautiful. I said, beautiful? I can't fly in that. She goes, would you shut up? I don't want to hear about you flying every minute of the day.
I was the kid that used to jump off roofs with umbrellas.
Listen, we used to do that as kids, but we'd use sheets, like bed sheets.
Yeah.
We would jump off of our shed roof.
They didn't work much better, but I'll tell you what, I flew for an hour.
Oh man.
You know, there's a lot of people. I think if Todd was here, I know Todd's watching and he doesn't have very good reception, which is why he didn't want to take the chance to come on the show and take away from the impact that the show should have. I think if Todd was here, there'd be a lot of people he would want to say thank you to for all their support. Josh, you're one of them. All the folks that are instructors, like you, like Chris, like Ron, like Mike and Justin, like Eric,
Travis,
thank you. And I don't know all the instructors, but Lauren, yes. People like Craig Taylor, who is always there. People like Tom Kubat, who show up at events to do demonstrations.
Team Fly Halo guys did one.
Yeah, Team Fly Halo. How about all the people that sent? I asked for a lot of people to go ahead and send me videos so we could do that 20 and 2020 Resurgence, and all the people that responded. And I know Todd had reached out to a bunch of people too. These are the people that support and talk about it. You don't even have to support it out of your pocketbook, although that's really going to be the best way. But, you know, support it, share the mission, talk about it with other people, you know, talk about, hey, you know, I fly paramotors. Oh, you're military. Guess what? We support them. Here's how. That's the way to spread it, because, and Todd has mentioned this before in one of the previous shows, we've saturated the market right here amongst us. We all know about it. The people that can donate the money, donate the money. The people that can't, maybe they can every once in a while. But if we're not talking about it, you know, in our businesses, in our day-to-day lives, it's never going to grow. And we want this to continue and grow big time. You know, just because we said 20 and 20, and if it happens, it's great. It's amazing. And if it doesn't, it's still amazing. That means we have to do 21 and 21, right? I guess we got to hit that at some point. But this is something that's still in its infancy stages. Really, 2 years is still in its infancy stages. But when you've got someone like Todd leading it, who is just a man of integrity and blue eyes and big hugs, I mean, you can't go wrong, right? I want to turn, for the last few minutes here, I want to turn this over to my co-hosts, John and Kate and Dave. And any questions that you have for any of our 5 guests? I've been talking a lot, and I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing my voice. So let's hear from you.
Not at all.
Aside from Kelby,
you've done a great job.
Aside from
picked up the
Kelby,
questions I would have had.
Aside from Kelby, who's going to the Sky Pirates poker run June 6th? Matty?
I'm going.
Well, we'll see you guys there. Hopefully we'll have some good weather and we'll have some good times.
It's the first time I heard about it, but it's 2 weeks away.
Correct.
Yeah, it's gonna be let's see, it'll
Saturday, June 6th.
thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I've driven down to that area twice in a month, so it's not that big of a deal. It's only 28 hours.
Well, if you fly in, I'll pick you up at the airport. How's that?
Well, I would take the RV because I'd have to bring my gear, and then if Matty, you said no, it was actually who doesn't have gear that was talking about going to Sean, right? Yeah, I think Sean was, well, and I said on the chat earlier, for the retreat, I will be bringing my training motors and wings. So anybody that doesn't have any gear, you'll definitely be flying as much as I can help out. But for the Sky Pirates thing, if I can swing that, I should be done with my class by then. And if I can swing it all, it only takes me about 30 hours to do a 24-hour drive. But
You hear that, John? You're complaining about 3-hour drives across Florida, and he's talking about coming 30 hours from across the country.
That'll be awesome, Josh. And hopefully we can see
if I can do it, if I can get all my people right now trained, I'll definitely think about it.
Oh my gosh, I hope they're all watching and know the pressure that you just put on them.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to say thank you to Yolanda Taylor, not Craig Taylor, Yolanda Taylor. And she just said, I want to donate 20 to 20 and 20 as well. So thank you, Yolanda, for your donation as well. Wow, we've actually raised $129 on the super chat. That's not including anybody that's gone over to the Resurgence PPG website and made your donations there. So I hope Todd is seeing this right now. And Todd, man, it just goes to show how much we love you and all of our vets and all these guys that are right here. Josh, that's awesome, man. That'd be really amazing if you can do that.
Question for Kelby. Kelby, have you been doing a lot of kiting?
I have.
Because you say that you got a little, what is it? You were a little nervous and you need some more help, but if you can get real comfortable under that glider, it's going to help so much when that time comes.
Yeah, I've been watching. I've been kiting with my friends while they fly.
Good. Yeah, I mean, you just can't get enough of that as much as you, and if you get to that beach, you said you were going over to the beach. If you get a chance, you can kite on that beach. That's just a great place. Nice, smooth, laminar air.
Yeah, I'm excited to go to the beach. That'll be fun.
Good stuff.
Don't rush yourself. Just make it fun all the time. You'll have that magic moment at one point where it all clicks and it becomes, well, it becomes much easier. But just don't feel like you have to rush and catch up with all your friends and keep up with everybody else. Go at your own pace. Take that beach as power steering. I don't know if you've ever driven a car without power steering, but that's what a beach is. And
great example.
Relax. Yeah, just take it easy. Take a breath all the time. Just no pressure. Just take.
Yeah, this isn't a race. It's definitely not a race.
No.
And one thing, Kelby, you're going to find as you progress with all the kiting, John hit on this, is the more kiting you do, the better you get. Even after years of flying myself, I was kiting in 16-mile-per-hour sustained wind this morning and learning. So you constantly learn, and you will get to that point. It makes you a better pilot, gets you a lot more comfortable when you are ready to fly.
Yeah.
There's something we have to do, and it's going to break away from the entire topic for just a second. Josh, on YouTube right now, you're in the middle screen, okay?
Okay.
On the left side of the screen is myself on top, Kate below me, and Andrew is below Kate. Kelby, you're on the bottom square in the middle, and John, you're in the top square, okay? So everybody got it? And then Matty, you're in the top right square. So Dave, you're below him in the middle, and Shawn Michael, you're below him. So Shawn Michael, you're on the bottom right. Yeah, just like that. So if we can do the Brady Bunch thing. So if I'm on the left side of the screen, that means I need to look to
the right.
I'm on the left side, so I got to look to my light. So I'm going to look left. I'm going to smile and look down. Everybody's got to look around. So Josh, you have to look at all around.
Everywhere. Are you going to play the song too?
I used to have it, but I was just looking for it and I don't have it anymore.
First time we had 9 boxes going at once. All right. A little comic relief there. Sorry. All right. Awesome show. Any other questions for my co-host? There you go, Sean Michael. Any other questions? Kate or Ripa or Trike Flyer or anybody in the chat? Last chance to ask questions of these amazing.
Not from me. You've kept it very well entertaining. So you did a good job.
Dave, John?
I'm good. Absolutely awesome interview.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for your service. I'm a vet myself and definitely appreciate you guys out there. And when I see you either at the poker run or out in the field, we'll definitely fly together. And guys, if you're ever in Northeast Texas, you look me up. I've got some property out here. You can come fish, hunt if that's your thing, and spend a couple days, and we'll go down to South Texas and go do some flying, or South Louisiana.
Yeah, guys, great to be a part of all this. Thanks for all you guys being here. Dave, great job. David, good job.
Not to distract from the conversation, but JP Tulo just said, "What is the Brady Bunch?" And I'm not sure if he's being serious or not. So.
Wow. All right. Well, guys, thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate that. Next week we have Tim Garvey and Dominic Vitantonio. Vitantonio.
Good job, Dave. Good job.
Good job.
And I will keep working on Dominic. So Tim and Dominic are going to be here. They both fly paramotor. They both fly paraglider. And Tim had a little accident. I have the video. We'll be showing that next week. After that week, we are going to be down in Florida. Dave, myself, joining Kate and John and Matty. And now Josh has put himself on the line. And
Kelby.
I'll do my best.
Michael. And Andrew, you'll have to figure out a way to get down there too. But we're going to be down there. So that means Gorilla will be back. He'll be hosting the show. And I know Dave and John and myself, we're going to be over doing an SIV course with Andrew and Leah.
Getting upside down.
Right, man. Getting crazy. And then the week after that, I believe we're going to be talking about that SIV course. So that's what we have coming up.
If we survive.
Oh.
One last time, Ripa, if you could put it in the chat, the Resurgence website, please, everybody, consider, even if it's $5, whatever you can do, just make a donation and help out the cause. And that's why we dedicate, this is the only time that we repeat shows. Resurgence is the only one, because when Brandon McLeod and I started this show, we said we have to have a reason, we have to have a cause, and this is the cause we chose. So it means a lot to us, and that's why we support Todd and Resurgence PPG and all these guys here. So
it's awesome.
There you go. Dave, thanks so much. Do you want to do your little spiel?
Oh, I can. Guys, like Dave said, if you can donate, great. If you can't, guys, if you have any gear whatsoever, get in touch with Todd over at Resurgence, or any one of us on the host here panel. Get in touch with us. We can get you in the right direction. It has been a phenomenal show. Really appreciate you guys joining. Before we go, make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up. That's how we get organic reach, guys. That's how these videos get out there. So please take time, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, turning those notifications on. Make sure you guys are following Just Kate's Journey up on her Instagram. She's always having some good times. Sounds like she was up east and now she's down south. The girl's all over the place. Make sure you guys are following her adventure. As always, make sure you are joining Ripman Riding up on YouTube. He has some pretty cool stuff. I'm starting to actually watch him a lot more than I'm watching this paramotor crazy guy who lost his phone. I don't know, or his camera or something. I don't know.
5 minutes to find that phone. I had to watch 5 minutes of my life.
I was deciding whether I was going to watch it or
camera.
Not. Yeah. I don't know. I might watch it while I'm sitting on the toilet in the bathroom with my phone or something. So make sure you guys are joining Ripman Riding up on his YouTube. As always, you're on Paramotor Crazy's channel right now. Guys, take a moment. Hit those notifications. Hit those thumbs up.
Gosh, is like enough already.
Trike Flyer. All that other good stuff. Josh, Kelby, Sean, Matthew, Andrew. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all you do. Appreciate it.
Yes,
I
thank
want
you.
to say one last thing. Bob Garber just made a great point here in the comments. If you're buying stuff on Amazon, and everybody's buying stuff on Amazon,
oh yeah,
Amazon Smile. You can go ahead. I forget the percentage.
It's just 1%, but that adds up.
You can go into Amazon Smile and put in as your choice of donation. Amazon will donate 1% of your order to Resurgence PPG. Go to Amazon Smile for that.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings us to the end of the show, guys. Have a wonderful week. I hope everybody flies safely, and we will see you next week. All right.
Thanks,
Good
Dave.
night, guys.
Thank you. Thanks
Good
for
night,
having me on.
everyone.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Yeah,
Have a
thanks
good
for
night.
having me.
Bye-bye.